Well, folks, good evening to you. I'd like to say good day, but it's actually good evening to you, one and all. It's Monday night. It's every odd Monday night that we do what we love, iRacing Touring Car Challenge Season 2, round number 2. Tonight in the studios, the voice of West Province Motorsport, Frankie Hinnis.
Gaza, hello Gary, and hello everybody at home.
And FC Nuvote.
Hello everybody. Just got back from a nice little long weekend and already back into racing with TcC.
Yep, Cape Agulhas Raceway was a biggie, 90,000 rands worth of prize money, and then also the All-Tar Rally down at Killarney International Raceway. So, Frankie, it's going to be Season 2, round number 2, and it's the Malemba Lodge powered event.
Yes, we come to you from Sonoma Raceway, that is in Southern California. FC's got probably some more information on it. Track length is 3.98 kilometers. Track temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, 6 meters above sea level. And outside temperature 17 degrees, clear skies, and only a 9 kilometer an hour wind. And it's a pretty FC technical racetrack.
Oh yeah, look, we've seen some of the guys struggle out there during the practice session, and it's going to make you work because there's quite a few corners that go into blind drops and blind rises and what have you. So quite an interesting layout of the circuit used here. Of course, the Sonoma circuit built around the Sears Point in the Sonoma Mountains of Sonoma County in Southern California. And yeah, beautiful circuit. The circuit comes with a very long history. Started out in 1967 as Sears Point Raceway. From there it moved on to Golden State Raceway, and then it became Infineon Raceway, and today known as the Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma County.
Well, Jaco Steyn is the first man out there on the circuit. He is Mr. Malemba Lodge himself. He is Jaco Steyn, and he is the first man out on track. It's an 8 minutes qualifying session, of which 2.5 minutes is done already with Jaco Steyn, the first man out there. Mike Verrier, the doc, is the next man out there on circuit.
Dolanchik also getting out there with a pink car, so something completely different for him. Mr. Luke is going to be one of the quickest out there, no doubt about it. And then Jason Kutsia. So the Durant Motorsport boys are going to be out there, and you're going to see the likes of this man as well, Tristan de Nobrega. He's going to be there and thereabouts, but don't forget about that man. If we can get a bit of a closer shot of him, that is Johan Ferry, and then undoubtedly Byron Mitchell, another one of the Durant Motorsport cars that's going to be out there. So we're going to be getting, everybody goes out, they do a warm-up lap, and when they finish their first flying lap thereafter, they've got 2 of them, that's when the lap times start coming up on the left-hand side of your screen.
So we stay aboard there with the Durant Motorsports Byron Mitchell as he makes his way around. Then we have got Dino Sturman, the next man out there, young man that did Western Province karting for a couple of seasons, did pretty well, and then just disappeared off the map, and he's back out here on the track again in iRacing. But FC, the times are beginning to come through.
Yeah, time's starting to come through, and Yuri Umpi Swart is the man to catch so far in that lead position on a 138. The times are going off screen there, but Swart on a 138 odd there to lead this charge here for pole position. Johan Ferry currently second for us. There we go, 138.399 is the fastest time by Swart. Johan Ferry about 0.241 of a second down from that, with Dino Sturman currently holding on to that third position just ahead of Byron Mitchell.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell is a second off Johan Ferry at this point in time. Is Byron Mitchell in the Durant Motorsport Audi. There is Jaco Steyn busy making his way around. Jaco currently in that 5th position in the Hyundai, and he is 1.2 seconds behind provisional pole sitter Yuri Swart.
Yeah, another man who's 1.2 seconds behind your pole sitter is Jason Kutsia, the man from Durant Motorsport in the yellow lined Audi there of Jason Kutsia. Francois Hubert is the next man out there in the Alpha Tauri Honda. He's doing a brilliant job there, 1.3 seconds off the pace of your fastest car. Luke Lucchesi 8th position. When last have you seen this, Frankie?
Well, not on any Monday or Wednesday, as a dollar check pops up there in that second position with a PB of a 138.523, as we watch Byron Mitchell working his way around for Durand Motorsport. Audi is Byron Mitchell, and 0.4 of a second between Mitchell and pole sitter Yuri Umpiswar.
Jason Gutierrez also improved on his time there, and then was beaten to it by Francois Hubert. Dino Sturman actually improves his time. He goes 2/10 of a second off the pace of the pace setter in the form of Yuri Swart, but that means Dino Sturman has done 2 laps, and that means he is parked off into the pit lane. But it's Swart from Dolenschenk, from Sturman, from Fourie, from Mitchell, from Hubert, and then Willem Botha.
Yeah, Tristan de Nobrega busy making his way around as well. And I received very interesting information from Tristan de Nobrega, which means that all the years we were getting it wrong in the karting section. A lot of us were saying that he is the son of Mark, but that's incorrect. Aiden and Sky de Nobrega is his sons, and Mark is actually the uncle of Tristan de Nobrega. But it's all about that man you see on screen there, Yuri Swart, with the 138.399, nearly 7 minutes done of the 8-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, we've got about 15 seconds left in, a minute and 15 seconds rather, shall I say, as Umpi Swart sets the pace out there in the provisional pole position. The only man that can get close to him at this stage of the fight is Dolenschenk. Dolenschenk goes on a 138.490. That's 0.09 of a second. And Byron Mitchell improves to 1/10 of a second of Swart's time. Johan Fourie still sitting in that 5th position. Lucchesi in pit lane. And Umpi Swart goes even quicker, 138.385.
Yeah, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds done. We've only got 40 seconds on the clock. So I basically think that's more or less where the guys are going to pull away. Willem Botha is still out there on the circuit, but I think he's done his bit. And then we see Clinton Besaidnout, 1.7 seconds off a pole sitter. And Clint is all the way down there in P16. Clint did very, very well last weekend at the Prince George circuit, the East London Grand Prix circuit. Out there, did extremely well in the Polar Cup. Did this young man, Clinton Besaidnout. And currently, Clinton is in that 16th position.
Well, let's see if we can improve before the time runs out. No, there it goes. Time cuts off. Everybody gets chucked off the circuit. And that means we're going to head into race number 1. Of 2 this evening here in the iRacing South Africa Touring Car Challenge Season 2, round number 2. Pole position, Yuri Umpi Swart. Alongside him, Troy Dolenschenk, with Byron Mitchell and Dino Sturman on the second row.
Row 3 is Johan Fourie and Luc Lucchesi. Row 4, Tristan de Nobrega and Jason Gutierrez. And row 5, Francois Hubert and Willem Botha.
Yeah, row number 6 is Jaco Steyn and Werner Swart. Behind them lines up Peter Hubert and Andre Steenkamp, with Stephen du Plessis and Clinton Besaidnout rounding off row number 8.
Row 9 is Atti Nagel and Sandro Bakari. Row 10 is Swys Hubert and Etienne Zwart. And row 11 is Herman Lazarus and Dr. Mike Verrier.
Row number 12 sees Andrew Murray in that 23rd position with Nathan Victor on his outside. Peter van der Spey in that 25th position with Andrew Thomas lining up alongside him. And Rainier Hubert filling up the last slot in position number 27.
Right, 27 cars out there for TCR action, brought to you tonight by Second Gear Productions, and a big thanks to Jaco Steyn of Malembe Lodge. So FC, we're about to go green. 2 20-minute races, obviously no pit stops. Still waiting for Dollar Check to grid. There he pops up with that pink BWT Audi in that second position. Everybody, Andrew Thomas, and the Neil Hubert must still grid. Others have all gridded so far.
Interesting thing, Frankie, something we've got to remember in this first race, car number 21, car number 1, and car number 7, or 77, all have a drive-through penalty that they've got to serve during the opening stages of this race. So that's even going to throw everything upside down as the lights start appearing on our screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And away we go with the TcC Racing. And off the line they go. Brilliant start by Dolenschink, beating Swart. Byron Mitchell also makes it past Swart as they all barrel into turn number 1. That's going to be a massive pile-up, and we might see a yellow flag here.
Oh, there's a possibility. Yes, we go to full course yellow. They said, guys, be careful. There is wheels rolling all across the track. Everybody will slow down, and guys are spinning all over the place. That was Jason Kutsia. There is major problems out there, but they're going to need to slow it all down as we are under full course yellow, and they never made it into turn 2.
Yeah, we were actually speaking about it, saying turns 2 and 3 were the ones being looked at by the clock of the course for possible chaos. And lo and behold, turn number 1 sees all the action as everybody just starts piling into each other.
Jason Kutsia was involved in that one. Watch out here for Etienne Zwart as they just pile into each other. It's absolute chaos. It's pandemonium. It is total destruction as they just mowed into each other. Sway Schubert busy making his way through there. Was he involved in that? The possibility is yes, because there was nowhere to go for nobody in that pile-up. So we are under full course yellow, and everybody has to just slow it down. Just slow it down and wait for us to go green again.
Yeah, some of the speeds these guys are doing under a full course yellow, it almost feels like they're racing. But yeah, it means the whole field has got to slow it all down, bunch it back up together. There we go, they're all bunched up back together. And Troy Dolenschink is the man that leads them around there. Byron Mitchell also made it past your pole sitter, Swart. Johan Fourie is there in that 4th position. He stayed out of the carnage, and Willem Botha has moved up into 5th position.
Luc Lecaise is in the pit lane. Pieter Joubert is in the pit lane. Atti Nagel is in there. Andre Steenkamp is in there. Werner Zwart is in there. They're all there in the pit lane, all victims of that turn 1, i.e. turn 2 chaos that we saw out there. So the group that we saw racing was the bunch that was trying to catch up to Troy Dolenschink, that sits there just behind the safety car that is leading them around Sonoma Raceway. So right there behind the safety car, you mustn't go past that safety car. The Dolenschink, Mitchell and Swart. The Durant boys are sitting in 2nd and 3rd position at this point in time, with Johan Fourie there in that 4th position. And Willem Botha rounding off that top 5. But it doesn't mean much at this point in time because they're all racked and stacked in there, one behind each other.
Yeah, well, look, we all knew this was gonna happen here. TcC Racing is so close, and we saw it at the previous event. It was just a massive pile-up, and the guy said, look, we're gonna have to bring this under control. And that's what's brought out the COCs to this event, and to say, look, if we get something happening in the first lap or 2, we're going to bring out a full course yellow.
That's Andrew Thomas. They're just trying to play catch up there. Andrew Murray is in there as well. Also one of our new TcC Touring Car Challenge drivers. There's Luc Lecaise. He's down 11 positions, finding himself in that 17th position. Atti Nagel all the way down in 18. He only lost 1 position though, did Atti Nagel, but still all the way down in that 18th position as we still circulate Sonoma Raceway under the full course yellow.
Yeah, guys who are still in the pits is Werner Zwart, Andre Steenkamp, Sway Schubert, and the names disappearing there behind Byron Mitchell's name. I see Victor is in there, Sturman and Rainier Hubert, all of them in the pit lane there. As one of the Durant guys runs it out wide. He's into the pit lane. That is Byron Mitchell. Mitchell puts it into pit lane. Is that for his drive-through?
I'm not sure what the car number is there. Remember, it's car 2177 and car number 1 that has to that is car 21.
Yep.
No, that's car 7. So yeah, he's busy working his way through the pits and back out again. Is Byron Mitchell. He's gone down 4 positions, so he is car 21.
That correct.
7 is the position that he's in,
yeah.
So that is his drive-through
Nobody
penalty.
said you can't go through on the yellow. you really think about it. I never saw it anywhere in the regs and rules.
This is true.
It said a drive-through penalty. It didn't say if there's a full course, you cannot make use of that full course.
In
yellow.
fact, I do believe the rules state that it has to be served within 3 laps.
Yeah.
So that is quite clever. So
Yeah.
within 3 laps at the start of the race, you've got to serve it. Doesn't matter if it's under a full course yellow.
That should have been cleared, which it wasn't. So therefore, well done there to Byron Mitchell. And that is obviously Durant Motorsport that's saying, listen here, do what you need to do. It doesn't say you can do it this way or that way. Just go out there and do it. And if there's anybody moaning about it, well, we'll sort it out directly after the race. Which is well done there to Garth de Villiers and the powers that be there at Durant Motorsport.
So, what will probably happen the next time they head towards the start-finish line off at the end of this lap, you'll probably find the safety car will be peeling off into the pits and will be back under green racing conditions. That means Troy Dolenchik has got a mountain of pressure on his backside because Umpi Swart right there on him, Johan Fourie is right there by him, Willem Botha, Clinton Besaidnout, Tristan Nobriga and Byron Mitchell, as well as Francois Hubert and Jaco Steyn will all be making their ways towards that front end of the field.
But if I have a look at that front end, is all pretty much bunched up. There's a lot of stragglers that is in that mid-pack and further down. So by the time we go green once again, they would not have caught up to that first 10, 12 cars as the safety car peels off. And now Dolenchik backs them up. Well done there to Troy Dolenchik. When he's ready, he'll nail that loud pedal and they won't be able to overtake him until he gets over the start-finish line. Botha must be careful he doesn't sneak past the head of Fourie there because that could cost him dearly. You have to stay in your positions and we're back to green once again. Dolenchik drops the hammer and away they go with Dolenchik and Johan Fourie sitting in first and second. Dolenchik, Swart, Fourie, Clinton Besaidnout got his nose ahead there. And Botha's dropping all the way down the leaderboard and Sandro Bakari is in trouble.
Lucchesi also spins it out there. It's chaos once again. This time into turn number 3 and turn number 4. It's just chaos out there. And Troy Dolenchik and Umpi Swart just says, we don't care what's happening behind us. We're going to pull away from this fight. And Clinton Besaidnout once again finding himself in a very competitive position in that third position.
Yeah, Clint sitting out there in P3, De Nobriguez in P4, Johan Fourie is there in P5. As you can see, the intervals, there's nothing between them. Francois Hubert and Jaco Steyn is right there with each other as well, and they're all chasing down Clinton Besaidnout, who's 2.2 seconds behind Dolenchik. Going to have a look at that intervals now. We're looking at the gap at this point in time. The moment we see the intervals, you'll see exactly how close it is there. And that's the intervals. Look at that fight there for Besaidnout's third position. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in there for that position of his. And this is a replay FC of Luke Lucchesi.
Yeah, Mr. Luke Lucchesi just got the tail end of that Honda, just stepping out there. Not happy with the handling on that one. He was even struggling in qualifying with the handling on that car. Not where we're used to seeing him, and it wasn't his best on. And Willem Botha got clipped there by somebody behind him. One of the, I think it was Byron Mitchell that was also involved in that one. So, just chaos all over once again at the start of this race.
That's Byron Mitchell pirouetting off the circuit there. And on the other side, you see Willem Botha trying to get back on again. But Dolenchik is the quickest man. 1 minute 39.743 there for Troy Dolenchik. And he's 0.3 of a second ahead of Umpi Swart in that second position. Then it's the Nobriga that sits out there in third. Oh, look at Johan Fourie crawling all over the back end there of the Nobriga. Up on the inside. Oh, but Tristan closes the door and gets Johan slightly out of shape there. Johan hanging on to that fifth position. And right behind him, 0.3 of a second in P6 is Francois Hubert.
Yeah, you're looking at about 0.5 of a second, but it's actually so close in these cars. It might look like a big mountain, but it's really close. As you can see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6th position. And then 7th in Stephen Duplessis. Jaco Steyn is that next group making their way around that corner as they all come barreling down towards the right-hander. It's a brilliant race here. Etienne Swart currently sitting in that 12th position, making his way around Sonoma.
And behind him is Jason Kutsia sitting out there in that 13th position, 0.7 of a second between himself and Etienne Zwart. and they're all fighting there for Yakustain's 8th position. It's Bakari, Veria, Mitchell, Swart, and Kutsia that is in that heck of a fight for that 8th position as we go back to the leaders. And Dolacek is all over the back of, I should have said Swart is all over the back of Dolacek with Johan Fourie in that 5th position. He and De Nobrega is chasing down beside Note's 3rd place.
Already halfway into this race, thanks to that safety car period. And Johan Fourie starting to apply pressure there on Tristan De Nobrega as Umpi Swart goes fastest with a 138.661 in this race. He's on the attack there behind Dolacek. But Johan Fourie is the man sitting in that 5th place. He's got a mountain to climb to get past De Nobrega and then chase down Clinton beside Note.
Yeah, it's a heck of a war out there. We are halfway through race number 1. 10 minutes and 45 seconds done out the 20 minutes. Johan Fourie's best was a 139.797. That is also his last lap there for Johan Fourie, as there is 0.2 of a second between himself and De Nobrega. And De Nobrega's guarding the back end there of the beside Note car. There's 0.4 of a second between himself and Clint that sits there in that 3rd position. Clinton is fighting for that 3rd place. Here comes Fourie, and Fourie gets it wrong. There's contact there between Fourie and, oh my word, just dropping down the leaderboard there. As that was just one of those horrible things that happened out there.
Yeah, Fourie just put a wheel onto that grass, that dusty, dry California grass, and that sent him into a bit of a dive, and that whacked him into a De Nobrega, and that took both of them out of this one, and both of them won't be too happy with that one.
Yeah, Fourie didn't come off that bad. Tristan is all the way down in 12th position, not exactly where he wanted to be at this point in time with 11 minutes and 50 seconds done on the clock, but it's all about Troy Dolacek and Yuri Umpi Swart. Dolacek in the BWT car and Yuri Swart out there for Team Durant Motorsport sitting in P1 and P2. They're 4.5 seconds ahead of Clinton beside Note. That has got Johan Fourie right there on his case. Only 1.2 seconds between Bez and Fourie. And then there's 3.3 seconds between Johan Fourie, Stephen Duplessis, and 1.8 between Duplessis and Jaco Steyn, who's got Byron Mitchell all over his back bumper there.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell all over the back bumper there of Jaco Steyn. He is about a second ahead there of 9th place man Sandra Bakari. Bakari makes a mistake now and drops down the field. That promotes Jason Kutsia and Mike Veria and Tristan De Nobrega up as De Nobrega makes a move there on Mike Veria. Something went horribly wrong for Sandra Bakari as he's just plummeting further and further down the field.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell gets his nose ahead there of Jaco Steyn. Jaco Steyn coming right back at him again. Etienne Swart in that 13th position. Look at that. There is 1, 2, 3 of them, including Etienne Swart, that once at 10th position from De Nobrega, Mike Vera, Atinagel, and then that man you just saw early on, Etienne Swart. They're right in there fighting for that 10th position that currently is in the hands there of Tristan De Nobrega.
Yeah, De Nobrega in that 10th position with Veria in 11th, Atinagel in 12th, with Zwart, Lazarus, Van der Spey, Thomas, Hubert, all of them in this one still. But riding on board there with Jaco Steyn in that 8th position. He is trying to stay there with Byron Mitchell, but Mitchell starting to pull away.
138.599 for Dolacek, but Clinton beside Note in that 3rd place is coming under severe attack here from Francois Hubert and from Johan Fourie. That's a fight you see on your screen there. That is Francois Hubert and Johan Fourie just there behind Clinton beside Note as we ride aboard here with Johan Fourie sitting out there in that 5th position. There's 0.4 of a second between himself and Hubert, and then there's 0.3 of a second between Hubert and beside Note.
Yeah, it's quite close here between these guys as they've battled out there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They are in basically in terms of no man's land compared to the rest of the field, just as 3 of them having their own little nice battle out there for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. But up front, it is Troy Dolacek who's being hounded there by the man from Durant Motorsport, Yuri Umpi Swart.
Yeah, Umpi Swart didn't have a bad outing last weekend at East London neither. He was involved in a heck of a fight there with the Clinton beside Note. This is a replay of Johan Fourie, and that is a passing maneuver of Fourie there on Francois. So he's got his nose ahead there of Francois Hubert.
and he just goes up into third position. He just got past Clinton Besaidnout as well. And now he's going to hunt down those two young lads at the front. Let's have a look at that. What move did he make here? Dove up onto the inside there of Besaidnout, and yeah, what a brilliant move there. That is a fired up Johan Fourie.
Oh, that's a double overtaking move on one lap there for Fourie. And he is 6.5 seconds behind Yuri Umpiswat, and that's the man you see on screen there, who is only 0.3 of a second behind that pink car in front of race leader Troy Dolacek. There's Johan Fourie right on his case. He's a Clinton Besaidnout, and right in there, only 0.5 of a second behind them, is a Francois Hubert. And then 4.6 seconds behind them, you've got Byron Mitchell, and 0.7 of a second behind Mitchell is Stephen Duplessis. But Francois Hubert, FCSB rider board, is all over that Audi there of Clinton Besaidnout.
Yeah, Clinton Besaidnout doing a brilliant job there to try and keep Francois Hubert behind him, as Jason Kutsia makes a move there on Jaco Steyn and passes him for that 8th position. So quite a few battles up and down the field here. Ati Nagel starting to come into play there with Mike Verrier as well, and Herman Lazarus just making a passing maneuver on Etienne Swart.
Yeah, I just saw that one there. Lazarus is getting past Etienne Swart to move there into that 13th position. That's Jason Kutsia, and that's the maneuver made there by Jason Kutsia up on the inside, as Jason Kutsia with the Run Motorsport car 77 just makes up another position. Mustn't he do a drive-through penalty as well?
Jason Kutsia was one of the cars that was supposed to get a drive-through penalty as well. Car number 1, 77 and 21. We've seen number 21. I don't know if he's done it yet, but yeah, let's have a look here. Francois Hubert, the man in that the 5th position, as we've got just under 3 minutes, or just over 3 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, Francois Hubert is all over the back end there of Clinton Besaidnout, and now Clinton is defending that 4th position, and Fourie is disappearing down the road. There isn't enough time for Johan to catch Yuri Umpiswart, but there's a heck of a lot of time for Francois Hubert that's gone up 4 positions to make the passing maneuver there, if he can, on Clinton Besaidnout.
Yeah, that would require a near perfect lap and a small mistake possibly there from Besaidnout. But riding on the board with your two front runners here, Troy Dolacek is the man in the lead, and it's 0.3 of a second between himself and Swart. Just look how close Swart is, trying to get that Durand Audi closer and closer, but just not able to being a threat for Troy Dolacek.
Yeah, Troy sitting out there in P1. And he has got Yuri Umpiswat 0.3 of a second there behind him. This is a replay of Captain Peter van der Spey making his way around Sonoma Raceway. He's the captain. And let's see what happened here to Captain Pete. Oh, just hitting the tire wall there. Sure, he turned in too soon and made contact there, FC, with that tire wall, or tire barrier, I should say.
That's one way of doing it.
Yeah. Move Nathan, the tire barrier.
Yeah, let's have a look here what happened to Nathan. Nathan Victor just parked it. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Either way, we know what's happening up front, and it is Dolacek that's been chased there. So let's have a look and see. By Umpiswat is the man who's been chased by, but Umpi's trying very, very hard, putting all the wheels on the dirt there. Is Umpiswat, and he's lost a little bit of ground. He's lost about 0.3 of a second. He's now 0.7 of a second there behind Dolacek, with 18 minutes and 45 seconds done now.
It just shows you that how easy it is to become over-eager with these cars and put a wheel wrong, and that's where you just start losing mountains and mountains of time. And that's given Troy Dolacek a bit of a breathing space. Doesn't have to push as hard as we are in the last minute of this race. It's Dolacek from Swart, from Johan Fourie, from Besaidnout, from Hubert, from Mitchell, from Duplessis, Kutsia, Steyn, and De Nobrega.
Yeah, there's Jaco Steyn, and Lucas right in there behind him. It is a recovering Tristan De Nobrega. Remember, there was contact earlier between himself and Johan Fourie, which dropped him all the way down, and now Tristan is only 0.6 of a second behind Jaco Steyn. There's De Nobrega coming through, and then behind him is Ati Nagel, and Ati Nagel has got Dr. Mike Vera in there, only 0.5 of a second between Nagel and the man in P12, Mike Vera.
You will find that this is the last lap that they will be doing. The way I looked at the track map, the time will run out by the time that Troy Dolacek reaches that start-finish line. So let's enjoy this battle here as they go into the last corner with 6 seconds left to go in this one. It's Dolenschenk from Swart, half a second in between the two of them as they come through that final kink, heading towards the start-finish line. Winner of race number 1 will be Troy Dolenschenk in P1, Umpi Swart in P2. Next man through in the Monster Energy Honda will be Johan Fourie.
Fourie finishes there in that third position. Right behind him is Clinton Besaidnot, and on his heels there is Francois Hubert, and 3 seconds behind him is Byron Mitchell, followed by Stephen Duplessis, Jason Kutsia, and Jaco Steyn, with the Nobrega right in there behind him. Only 0.2 of a second between Steyn and the Nobrega.
Yeah, then Atinachel, Mike Verrier brings it home in 12th. Herman Lazarus brings it home in 13th, with Etienne Zwart in the 14th position. Peter Hubert is the next man that will be making his way towards the start-finish line. Here he comes now in the Honda. There crosses the line in 15th with Andrew Thomas, the next man in that 16th position, followed by Dino Sturman, Andrew Murray, Willem Botha, Sandra Bakari, Werner Swart, and Andre Steenkamp, Swayze Hubert, and Peter van der Spey not having a time. Looks like Van der Spey having picked up problems.
Well. It looks like only the first, if I see right here, I don't think they all ended on the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, some great stuff out there. So your podium for race number 1 is Troy Dolenschenk from Yuri Umpi Swart and Johan Fourie.
Well, as always, that'll see us having to relive those nail-biting moments as your top 10 in this race gets flipped around for the grid for the start of race number 2.
As if we never had any chaos in the opening one, we're going to have it all again. So there'll be a short breather for us, and then we'll get back to you for the next 20-minute race action.
Well, folks, we now were 3.5 minutes into the 5-minute warm-up session. And for those of you that just joined us, this is Season 2, Round number 2, the iRSA Touring Car Challenge. Frankie and the Subway Space from Motorsport and the man from Yo Stasi. He's both in studio here. And, well, it's going to be less than 1 minute from now. In fact, 1 minute. And then we'll be getting the inverted grid. So that should, Frankie, in effect, put Tristan de Nobrega and the man that designed this series, Jaco Steyn, on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, and then in P9 and 10 will be Troy Yuri Swart, P9, and Troy Dolacek will be P10, and then from P11, Ati Nagel, Mike Veria down. That will be the way you see them there on the screen. So it's going to be interesting stuff to see when this one gets underway. We've had enough chaos and carnage out there in the opening race. So let's have a look and see when this one gets off the line.
Just 15 seconds to go, and then the computer will say, thanks guys, you've had enough time to practice. Let's get the grid up. Let's invert that top 10. And as soon as that grid becomes available to us, we will show you that one. A couple of seconds from now, there the 5 minutes is up, and we await the re-gridded positions.
So there we go. We're going to have a look and see. Remember, Heat 1, the winner was Dolacek, and that means Umpi Swart second, Johan Fourie finishing that one in third position. So de Nobrega and Steyn will be on the front row of the grid with the invert, Jason Coetzee and Stephen Duplessis. And then the third row, Byron Mitchell and Francois Hubert.
Yeah, row number 4 sees Clinton Besaidenote alongside Johan Fourie with Umpi Swart in P9 and Troy Dolacek riding off your top 10.
Row 6, Ati Nagel and Mike Veria. Row 7, Herman Lazarus and Etienne Zwart. Row 8, Peter Hubert and Andrew Thomas. And row 9, Dina Sturman and Andrew Murray.
Row number 10 sees Willem Botha lining up alongside Sandra Bakari in 20th with Werner Swart in P21. Andre Steenkamp in that 22nd position with Swys Hubert, Van der Spey, Lucchesi, Nathan Victor and Rainier Hubert rounding off your grid for race number 2.
The question is, how's Pantera Racing's Luke Lucchesi going to come through all the way from that 25th position? That's going to be another question. Big thanks there to Malemba Lodge. FC, the light sequence has started. Take them off the line.
And away we go. And it's a brilliant start by Byron Mitchell getting past Duplessis as everybody barrels down. It's Jaco Steyn who's in P1. De Nobrega tries to fight back. It looks like everybody makes it through turn number 1 this time around. Will we evade chaos? Yes. Oh, there's contact between Lazarus and somebody out behind him there. But de Nobrega has lost out on that start as Jaco Steyn has grabbed the lead of this race.
Well, we made it through turns 1, 2, and 3. That's for sure. Now watch the Durant Motorsport boys come through. They're going to be having to work together as a team as Besaidenote goes wide. Besaidenote goes wide. You saw Dolacek dive through there as well. That's not what Clint wants. Dr. Mike Veria gets past him as well. Dino Sturman has a look at him as well. But it's all about those first 3. Steyn, de Nobrega, and Mitchell. They are breaking away here from Jason Coetzee, who's got Francois Hubert, Yuri Swart, Johan Fourie, and Troy Dolacek right there on his case.
It's all-out war at the front end of this field as de Nobrega retakes the lead of the race ahead there of Jaco Steyn and Mitchell. But Umpi Swart has got his hands full with Francois Hubert and Troy Dolacek and Fourie all rack stacked and packed there behind him. Then we see Clinton Besaidenote. He's tucked in there behind Dr. Mike Veria, and right behind him you got the likes of Dino Sturman as Johan Fourie starts tumbling down the order.
Yeah, Johan Fourie is right into the wall. He's all the way out of this one. He's gone and made a mistake there, Johan. Oh, bang into the wall and dismantles that entire front end of that race car.
Yeah, that is a very second-hand Honda in the hands there of Fourie. But back to the racing as Willem Botha is currently, so let's have a look at a replay. He goes doing a bit of farm work out. He takes Lucchesi with him onto that grassy section. And Troy Dolacek also had a bit of a moment in the BWT car as he runs it wide, coming back onto the main straight.
Oh, somebody I think might have just gone into the wall there as we tried to have a look and see Somebody went extremely wide there. That's a replay of Dino Sturman getting it all wrong, out of shape, losing tons of ground there. And somebody else going very sideways there. That is Peter van der Spey. That's the man that I said I just saw go shooting off to the left and thumping into the wall.
So Francois Hubert also sends the AlphaTauri Honda into a bit of a pirouette down that grassy field. And how strange to see everybody make it through turn 1 and 2 and then all of a sudden just go dancing and gardening on the side of the circuit.
All over the place. So we're going to have a look at those intervals now, especially this group of cars that's fighting out there for that third position. There we go. It is Jason Kutsia. Look at them racked and stacked in there. Jack Stein, Yuri Swart, Troy Dolacek, Stephen Duplessis, and Clinton Besaidnout. They're all hassling the back end there of the Jason Kutsia Audi. We ride aboard here with Yuri Swart, who's a tenth of a second behind the Jack Stein. Is going to nail him. He surely is going to nail him. And yes, he moves up into that fourth position. And Dolacek goes through. Swart. Jack Stein's got all the way down to P8.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you put a wheel onto that loose dust and grass. You're just going to start tumbling down the order. Just look what happened there as he ran it wide, opened the door up, and then got into the loose, and then clucked it into the barriers on the side, on the left-hand side.
That is our word for the day. Clucked it into the barriers out there. But it's Byron Mitchell. It's having a fight there with the Nobriga as Mitchell gets his nose up front. And the Nobriga is there in that second position. Here comes Jason Kutsia. Dolacek is sitting out there in that fourth position. Right behind him is Yuri Umpiswart, followed there by Stephen Duplessis. Only 1.2 seconds behind them is Clinton Besaidnout. Right on his case there is Jaco Stein. On his case, the last car on your screen there, that is Atinagel. That is busy working his way through. And then Dino Sturman FC has got them racked and stacked in there behind him as well.
Yeah, Sturman currently finding himself in that 10th position. He's got Nathan Victor about 6/10 of a second behind him. Luke Luquez, he's worked his way up into 12th position from the back end of the field. He's just half a second off the pace there from Victor, with Willem Botha also on the charge in that 13th position.
I have a replay here at Luke Luquez. He's also had a nightmare while he's gone past Mike. They're all going past Mike Verrier because Mike is off there in the kitty litter. So they're all just bombing past the dock there. Luke Luquez, he's just been the first group of that car. And there is Lucchesi, another replay here at Lucchesi that's making a move on Willem Botha. There is Luke Lucchesi for Pantera Racing.
Oh, something completely... Oh, let's have a look here. Oh, just there. That was a complete wipe out there behind him, passing a whole bunch of cars. There is Luke Lucchesi in that car. Oof, that was... is that Francois Hubert that was involved in that one? Yeah.
Yep, was indeed.
But back to the front of this race, Byron Mitchell has taken the control of this race here ahead of Tristan de Nobrega, with Jason Kutsia in third and Troy Donching putting up the fastest lap of the race so far.
I just saw there was a purple lap behind the Dolacek car. He's 0.2 of a second behind Jason Kutsia. Troy wants through. This young gun wants to move up there into that third position. But ahead of him is Durant Motorsports' Jason Kutsia. Jason that had a pretty decent outing last week at East London in the Formula 1600s. He's sitting currently there in that third position, but he's got Dolacek and Swart racked and stacked in there behind him.
Yeah, it's a massive battle there as Troy Dolacek goes up on the outside there of Jason Kutsia. It's an all-out battle there. They're side by side going through that corner. On the outside is Dolacek. Kutsia still hangs on there, but Dolacek's not going to want to be there for too much longer. Now he's going to get to the inside line eventually, but he backs out of it this time round.
He has been mugged there by Durant Motorsport. Both of them are right in there as they're having a go at him, but the young Dolacek is not going to give this up. Troy's got Jason and Yuri right in there. That's a fight for 3, 4, and 5. You see there on your screen, and is this an overtaking maneuver by Jason Kutsia on the inside? Dolacek is not going to back out. He hasn't got the line though, but he mustn't leave that door open because Umpi Swart will shove his nose in there as well. And FC Kutsia and Swart is mugging Dolacek for that third position.
Look,
but Dolacek is not giving in.
As long as you're brave enough to stick it out on that outside, not back out of it, the track will eventually bring you to the inside line through another corner. And Troy Donishek, definitely one of the brave ones that will stick it out as he now solidifies that third position.
But Stephen Duplessis is getting a lot closer now. He's only 1.5 seconds between himself and Yuri Swart. That's in there just ahead of him. Stephen sitting out there in P6, and here comes Clint Poseidon. Clint is only 1.3 seconds behind Stephen Duplessis, and not too far behind them, 2.5 seconds behind them. In the P8 is Atinachel.
Atinachel is sitting there in a P8. He is 1.7 seconds ahead there of ninth place Dino Sturman, but there is still a massive battle going on there for that third, fourth, and fifth position, as Umpi Swart has now taken that position away from Jason Kutsia, and Kutsia still tries to hang on.
Yeah, replay here at Umpi. That side by side. Is that an overtaking maneuver by Umpi Swart on Jason Kutsia? Yes, it is. And through he goes, moving up another position. But FC, there's a fight a bit further down for Jaco Stein's 10th position. There is Luke Lucchesi and Willem Botha, and for that matter, Nathan Victor and Werner Swart. They're all in there fighting for Jaco Stein's P10.
Yeah, look, Lucchesi has had an evening here to forget so far. He's battled out here in this Touring Car Championship race. Struggled out there in race number 1, ended towards the back end of the field, but he's worked his way up well into that 10th position, makes it 6, runs it a bit wide going through that corner, but it looks like he's done enough to hang on to P10.
Yeah, as we can have a look and see now, where are we? We're with Lucchesi. As Lucchesi is sitting out there in that 10th position, is 1.7 seconds ahead there of Willem Botha. Look at this train coming through that double left-hander. That is Werner Zwart you see there. And he and Nathan Victor are crowding the back end there of Willem Botha's car.
Yeah, Willem Botha in a bit of a trouble there, as Nathan Victor and Werner Zwart applies a lot of pressure. If they keep that up, Swayze Hubert will also start coming into play there from the next position around. But that's where the contact was for Jaco Steyn, and that just sent him dropping down the field.
Yeah, as cars are overtaking each other there. Replay here at Hammer Lazarus, the man of cheapercars.co.za. He sits there behind Dr. Mike Verrier and slides up on the inside, makes contact with the dock, and then tries to move that tire wall, which is going to go absolutely nowhere.
I think those tires are actually just concrete bollards painted to look like tires, because they're not moving, and they rip off bumpers. Let's have a look here what happened to François Hubert.
That car's
gone.
All over the place.
Yeah.
That car's in a lot of trouble out there. But we go back to the front runners. That is Byron Mitchell, 0.5 of a second behind young Tristan Donobriga in that second position. 1.3 seconds between himself and Troy Donishek. Then Yuri Umpi Swart sits there in that fourth position. He's 1.6 seconds ahead there of Jason Kutsia. And FC, he is 2.8 seconds ahead of the man in P6, Stephen Duplessis. Yeah,
Duplessis in that sixth position, but just half a second behind him is Clint Poseidon, who in turn is 3.2 seconds ahead there of Atinachel in that eighth position. Dino Sturman is getting closer and closer there to Atinachel. There he is in the spoon car, and then behind him is that battle there as Luke Lucchesi makes his way past that car in that 10th position.
Yeah, that's the battle box I was looking for there. He made the move there on Peter Hubert, did Luke Lucchesi. But if you have a look at Werner Swart, he is 2.9 seconds behind Willem Botha. This is a replay of Pantera Racing's Luke Lucchesi. That's track limits way off the circuit there for Pantera Racing's Luke Lucchesi. So Byron Mitchell sitting out there in a P1, 0.6 of a second between himself and Donobriga. That is there in that second position, and Yuri Swart is crowding the back end there of the Donishek outfit.
Yeah, just under halfway into this race, and everybody's still battling it out quite hard there. There's no clear leader or a winner in this race just yet. That front 1, 2, 3, 4 all covered within like a second and a half to 2 seconds. That's how close the racing is here with Mitchell, Donobriga, Donishek, Swart and Kutsia, all of them in there. Poseidon in that sixth position, but now Dino Sturman battling it out there with Atinachel as Nachel drops down a position to 9th.
Yeah, and then comes Luke Lucchesi. Luke Lucchesi is right on the case of both of them. Luke sitting out there in P10. There's a second between himself and Atinachel. There's 0.4 of a second between himself and Dino Sturman. And that's the three cars you see in your screen there now. Here is Tristan Donobriga. And he is sitting out there in that second position, 1.1 seconds between himself and Mitchell, but Troy Dolacek is right there. There is 0.6 of a second between himself and Dolacek, and there's nothing between Dolacek and Swart, and Yuri takes that position away there from Troy Dolacek. But Troy, once again, FC, never going to give up.
Fortune favors the brave, and Yuri Swart sees himself as very, very brave as he battles it out there with Troy Dolacek. Dolacek says, look, you're going to have to be extremely brave to go toe-to-toe with me, and this is going to be a hard-fought battle towards the end as Swart takes the lead, but Dolacek says, nope, I'm not going to give up that easy.
Well, as I said before, these two youngsters raced at the Extreme Festival. Troy Dolacek was racing in the Formula 1600s, and Yuri Swart was racing in the Comcare VW Polar Cup, and now these two hotshots are sitting third and fourth in a TCR or TcC Touring Car Challenge racing action, as Yuri Swart sits there in that fourth position. There's a 1/10 of a second between himself and young Troy, and Troy will never give in as they go through that hairpin.
Yeah, through the hairpin they go. It is Mitchell, De Nobrega, but that's that massive battle between Dolacek and Swart. Jason could see us starting to fall back behind them, with Clinton Mercedes another 4 seconds behind. Stephen Duplessis sitting in at 7th. Oh, Lazarus plants that car into the barrier. You just see body parts flying all over.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. He just kept on going straight, and everybody else decided to turn right, and he just dismantled the front end of that car. Went in very hot, and then the corner just turned in on him, closed in on him, I should say, and then he hit that tire barrier.
But Dino Sturman currently finding himself in that 8th position. That is an improvement of 9 positions since the start of this race. Umpi Swart has moved up 5 positions into 4th. And there's contact between Dolacek and Swart as they hit each other. And Umpi Swart muscles his way into 3rd position.
Yeah, well, you knew that was going to happen sometime, because these two were never going to give in for each other. And they've got to watch out, because Jason Kutsia is on the move. He's only 1.5 seconds behind them. Dolacek in that 3rd position, with Umpi Swart in that 4th place. And this is the contact between them. To run Motorsports, Yuri Swart in car number 39. And then, of course, Troy Dolacek as well. So Troy in that 3rd place, with Umpi there in that 4th position. And catching them, FC only 1.5 seconds behind the two of them, is Jason Kutsia in P5.
Yeah, Jason Kutsia in P5, and he is about 4.1 seconds ahead there of 6th place man Clinton Mercedes, who is in a rather safe 1.5 second lead ahead there of Stephen Duplessis, as a cone goes flying there in front of Dino Sturman. Luke Lucchesi's the man on the chart. He's already up into 9th. And Ati Nachel finds himself in 10th position.
And right behind him, 1 second, is Willem Botha. Willem is there in that 11th position. Then Werner Zwart is there in P12, followed by Nathan Victor. 2.7 seconds behind him is Andre Steenkamp. 1.3 seconds behind him is Sway Schubert, who's been hassled heavily here by Andrew Murray and Dr. Mike Verrier. And they're fighting there for Sway's 15th position.
Yeah, Sway's in that 15th position. Andrew Murray currently finding himself in 16th position with Mike Verrier in 17th. Andrew Thomas, Johan Ferry, Peter Hubert, Sandra Bakari, Lazarus and Van der Spey, all of them in those last couple of positions, as we have a look and see here what happened to Mike Verrier as he goes and does a bit of farming.
Yeah, he got very, very wide there onto the dirt for Rico Barlow Racing and Sujin Properties. He's Dr. Mike Verrier, but it's all about Byron Mitchell that put a lap there on Herman Lazarus. Here comes the Nobriga. He'll lap the cheaper cars.co.za man now. And then this fight for third position between Troy Dolacek and Yuri Umpiswar, 0.2 of a second behind Troy, and between Troy and Yuri.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle towards the end of the race, with just 3.5 minutes left in this race. This battle is far from over, as Yuri Swart is not allowing Dolacek to get away whatsoever and still applying a load of pressure.
A lot of pressure being applied here by that man in that fourth position. The man from Durant Motorsport. That's an IDUC there behind the Troy Dolacek outfit, the best water technology car there. That pink car of Troy Dolacek. 3 minutes to go before checkered flag, and Yuri's not done as they put a lap there on Herman Lazarus.
Yeah, Herman Lazarus stays out of the way of this battle. He knows he shouldn't get involved in that, but it is Dolenchek that holds on to P3. Umpi Swart dives left, he dives right, he tries to go straight down the middle, but the Dolenchek is not allowing or having any of it at this stage of the fight.
Well, they are busy bogging each other down. You've got to watch out there for Jason Kutsia, because he's also on a move. Dino Sturman is right in there behind Stephen Duplessis, and Stevens all over the back end there of Clinton Besaidnout. Only a second between Besaidnout and Duplessis. It's now under a second, and then you add Dino Sturman to that fight as well, and that's the battle for P6.
Yeah, P6's battle there is that whole group of Besaidnout, Duplessis, Sturman, and Luke Lucchesi not too far off of that battle either, having moved up 16 positions to find himself in that 9th place. Can Luke Lucchesi still get involved here and move up a position before time runs out with just over a minute and a half left to go in this race?
Well, I think he will, because the man you see ahead of him there is Stephen Duplessis, and I think he'll make that move there on Stephen Duplessis, will Luke Lucchesi, and then there's not much between them and Dino Sturman, so Luke could maybe still make it up into that 7th position, but there's just under a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, just under a minute and a half here, riding on board with Luke Lucchesi in that 9th position, watching the back end there of Stephen Duplessis and Dino Sturman just ahead of him. He fancies himself a possible move here pretty soon to get as much points as possible, while at the front Byron Mitchell is the man that's pulled away, and he finds himself in a comfortable lead, and we might be seeing our race winner go over that start-finish line with just under a minute left to go.
Yeah, there's 55 seconds left on the clock as we have a look at Yuri Swart. There's 4/10 of a second between himself and the man in that 3rd position, Troy Dolenchek. There's 2.7 seconds between Troy and De Nobrega, and there's 3.8 seconds between De Nobrega and the man sitting up there in P1, Byron Mitchell.
All right, let's have a look here. Luke got past. Luke Lucchesi's up into 8th position with just 30 seconds left in this race. Where is your race leader on the circuit? There he goes. That's Byron Mitchell working his way around Sonoma Speedway in the southern part of California in the United States. Around the final corner he goes. Will he have to do another lap though? As there's 10 seconds left in this race, I think he might have to.
Well, the checkered flag shows there that he will not have to, so he will win this one, and he moves from side to side. Well done, Durand Motorsport, Byron Mitchell in P1.
There we go. Yeah, Byron Mitchell in P1, De Nobrega P2, Dolenchek brings it home in P3, Umpi Swart in P4 with Kutsia in that 5th position, and the next man across the line, Clinton Besaidnout.
Well done, Clint, in that 6th position. Dino Sturman, Luke Lucchesi, and Stephen Duplessis, as close as you can say it. That's how they finish P6, 7, 8, and 9.
Willem Buerta brings it home in 10th, followed by Ati Nagel. Werner Swart is also across the finish line. Nathan Victor goes across the line there with Andre Steenkamp in P14, Andrew Murray P15, and Swayze Hubert in P16.
Yeah, Swayze coming through, then Dr. Mike Verrier, and here comes Andrew Thomas, the man of Racebook Media, finishing his race, and then Johan Fourie, the last car on the lead lap, finishing in a lonely, low down 19th position because of problems out there.
Yeah, Johan Fourie will make it across the start-finish line. He goes into the final corner there now in that car of his. He's dropped 11 positions from the start of this race due to that impact. Then behind him in 20th position, the Johan was the last car on the lead lap.
Yes,
Hubert was there in 20th position with Bakari, Lazarus, Van der Spey, and Francois Hubert.
Well, what can you say? Brilliant stuff. Well done here to Byron Mitchell for Durand Motorsport. But the result, that's Heat 1 results. So it was Mitchell that won race number 2 with De Nobrega in 2nd and Dolenchek in that 3rd place. Just ahead there of Yuri Swart and Jason Kutsia.
Yeah, Besaidnout brought it home in 6th, followed by Dino Sturman, Lucchesi in 8th, followed by Duplessis and then Willem Botha rounds off your top 10.
Right, so that was race 1 and race 2. Big thanks to Malemba Lodge. So now we're going to have waiting for the overall positions. This is race 2, which is the feature results. So we're going to hopefully get the overall results for race 1 and race 2 combined. Well, a big thanks to Malembe Lodge. That is Jaco Steyn. A big thanks to him, and a big thanks to Gary of Second Gear Productions.
Yeah, big thanks to everybody involved in putting this series together. My favorite spot to be every second Monday night here in the Second Gear Production Studio, as we enjoy this format of racing as well, along with all the other formats. And a big thanks to Jaco Steyn, Malembe Lodge, and Gary Fleming of Second Gear Productions, and then my co-commentator Frankie Ennis. Lovely to be back here in the studio with you on this lovely Monday evening.
Always great. But we will be back here again on Wednesday night for another round of the iRacing Master Series. So we're looking forward to that one. From myself, Frankie Ennis, enjoy the rest of the week, and we will see you here on Wednesday.
Yeah, from my side, FC Nevo, lovely to have been here with you. Round 2 of 5 in season number 2 of the Touring Car Challenge. And we'll see you on Wednesday night at Sports and GT Master Series. We're coming to you again live from the Second Gear studio. See you guys then. Ciao.
Well, we're going to stay online for a couple of secs just to see if we can pick up any of the drivers in the Second Gear lobby, barring that coming up in the next 30 seconds from the Second Gear studio. Good night to you, one and all.